What's going on, Workforce? Brian here, and today we're talking about Live Letter 42 with Yoshi-P. So there was a Q&A, and then Yoshi-P went and talked about Eureka, and so we've actually done a video post on Eureka itself. You can find that somewhere in the links. I'll, in post After Effects, whatever, I'll toss that up so you guys can easily check that out if you're interested. Eureka looks pretty cool. I'm very excited. Actually, I'm feeling a little bit more confident in that content, and that's all I'll say that about here, because we got a lot of Q's and A's that we can that we will be going over here with you guys. So with that being said, I'd love to know your thoughts on any of these questions and answers in the comments below. Let's have that conversation as we move forward into patch 4.2. So without further ado, here's question 1. So after the patch went live, the instances were congested, which made it very difficult to participate. Are you considering plans to move the instance battles to the end of the quest line, or any countermeasures to mitigate this congestion? Yoshi-P responds, "We apologize that we had to undergo emergency maintenance on the day of the patch release. We encountered a similar issue previously that led to the same congestion issue occurring during the quest instance battles. We had measures in place for it, however a human error occurred as well as what caused the issue. As we would like for many people to enjoy the story, we made adjustments and worked up until the very last minute. But it's very important to be able for everyone to play it, so we'll be sure to carefully balance this moving forward. The structure of the main scenario quest is tied to the flow of the scenario, so we can't always move the instance battles towards the end, but we will continue to make measures for the congestion." And for me, I think one of the things that I've always kind of thought about this is that why is there not some type of queuing system for that? Just give me a ticket and let me know when I can go, because whenever there's a rush, and there will be another rush for the next expansion. This is essentially that they obviously have so many instances that this content can take part in. It would be fantastic if they're just like, okay, there's a line, go ahead and here's your ticket and your number 56 in line, go ahead and run fates or enjoy the game and do other things, rather than continue to spam, because all that does is then just gets everybody spamming and spamming and spamming. Not necessarily a good win for anybody, but I'm hopeful they'll take measures of that. Basically, this question is obviously focusing in on them apologizing profusely for the issues. Question 2. While there were adjustments for all 3 tank jobs, we still think the Paladin is the most efficient of the 3. Will there be increases to Warrior and Dark Knight's support abilities and DPS? Party support abilities are aspects of the job's identity, so we won't be making everything exactly the same. Also, we believe Warriors are very strong right now, and that is an absolute fact. Warrior is incredible. Another video I did on that topic. It's like all the plugs for me today in this case. But obviously they talk about like Dark Knight wanting, I think the question in the unofficial translation really kind of dives into, the Dark Passenger MP reduction and recast reduction, and that's what question 3 is about. Question 3. So the Blackest Night adjustment for Dark Knight was nice. However, I feel that the effect of Dark Passenger and Shadow Wall are still low compared to the MP cost and length of the recast time. I would like to see Dark Knight's defensive properties expanded. So it feels like we've been receiving more requests to adjust the other jobs since the latest Warrior adjustment. We believe the balance within each of the roles are starting to be evened out, so we're currently discussing to see how we can make that adjustment to Dark Knight, so please wait a little bit longer. Content is balanced around recast times of the buffs, so we don't think the jobs will be strengthened simply by reducing recast timers. We would like to carefully look into this. Question 4. So for tank accessories, I believe it's much more useful to meld direct hit into the new crafted accessories than using accessories obtained from the new tokens in Savage Raid. Are there any plans to adjust the stats of the accessories in the future? And Yoshi-P responds, I believe the issue here is that the first groups of players trying to complete the raids quickly are in favor of pushing their DPS. Once they obtain Savage accessories, I don't think that they need much DPS. We met players at the event today that suggest that making it so that you can't meld direct hit on them. While I understand the comments on this will be split, we're carefully discussing this right now. And alright, look here. No, don't touch my direct hit. Man, oh my gosh, like if direct hit left tanking, wow, that would take tenacity to a whole new level. Because tenacity is that defensive and offensive, stat just specifically for tanks, and then leaving direct hit for certain classes. That would mean certain, I guess jobs would have varying stats that obviously are shared, but not all of them would benefit. In this case, direct hit. And that would also then reduce the damage that Warrior buff just got within a release. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? That's insane, right? I guess, you know, at the end of the day, like, it'll be balanced, and, you know, if they did do that, there would be a kind of a pain and suffering period, but eventually I think it would even itself out. I mean, thinking, you know, realistically with adjustments, etc., because they could always just buff up everybody's, you know, to account for that difference, right? But there's still something so sweet about seeing all that, especially on Warrior right now. Love to know your thoughts. So question 5. Do you have any plans to buff support abilities for jobs that didn't receive any update in patch 4.2, such as Samurai or Red Mage? And then they say, we have no plans to make any adjustment to Red Mage at this time. Since we buffed Monk, players are asking for some type of buff for Samurai, so we're thinking about making adjustments that will push their DPS to match their job concept. Question 6. After the recent changes, Black Mage became much smoother to play. I think we just need support abilities to complete the adjustment, but do you have any plans to add any or make adjustments to do this? And so Yoshi-P says, we believe everyone is focused on their main job. However, we're making sure the experience when playing the jobs are different. At the very least, we have no plans to add any new support abilities to the 4X series. Also, there seems to be a trend where players believe that you're at a disadvantage when you bring certain jobs into raids, but there won't be any major disadvantage or advantage no matter what setup you have. And so this, what he's really kind of talking about is that if they actually, you know, brought in these support mechanisms to Black Mage, they would have to, reduce its damage. One of the things that makes Black Mage unique is that they're just a really heavy hitter, glass cannon style job. So if you want like really powerful DPS, and you know you really want to kind of master that role, the Black Mage is for you. And so there is that offset. You know, so if you know when you look at progression raid and you look at that clear raid, yeah, Black Mage, Red Mage, and Summoners seem to be really good because they have those raises. But really, if you're not dying, you don't need that, and you can usually offset that with obviously more DPS. But again, I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on this. As somebody who has been enjoying Black Mage, I'm like, it would be nice maybe if Paladin had a raise, or if Phoenix Downs existed, with a cooldown, because I think that essentially kind of helps bring a little bit of that support without breaking the game completely, as long as the cooldown, was set at a right level. Question 7. Do you have any plans to add a system that would allow gear converted to Glamour to be used using previous Glamour methods without the use of a plate? And Yoshi-P says, they're currently receiving a lot of calls to their support center for players saying that they've converted the wrong gear. Converted gear aren't gone completely, and they still can be used as Glamour. We may change this to adjust the point on how it cannot be used as normal gear. However, there's still an issue about inventory size, so we haven't decided on this yet. We're also developing a system that will allow glamouring directly using the items stored inside the dresser. So question 8. Do you have any plans to increase the amount of items that can be stored inside the Glamour dresser or add Glamour plates? And they respond, this will increase the amount of data processed through the network. So we're discussing where and when we can increase to make this possible. To increase these areas in which the plates can be applied, or to increase the amount of plates, we need to choose one, and we're currently thinking to increase the number of plates available. They're carefully looking at everyone's data, so they would like to make adjustments while maintaining good balance. Question 9. You're able to participate in the fashion report from level 15, but is it possible to get a high score with just low level gear? And Yoshi-P responds, we would like the fashion report to be the reason to start glamouring. You may think that there's no point in getting higher than 80 points, but for new players who just started their adventure, we would like them to feel like they'll be able to enjoy glamouring as their level increases. Number 10. When will Fishers receive a new secondary tool? Compared to other Disciples of the Land, their stats are lower because they're secondary tool. I'm looking forward to a secondary tool with strong stats. And Yoshi says, Fishers are set up in a special way. We haven't really added any attributes to their secondary tool and haven't included this as a part of their balancing. As for why they have GP, the durability of their gear will drop when they fish. So to compensate for this, we have added the GP. Number 11. Would it be possible to add optional items such as Ida and Emeric's outfits to the Armoire or Calamity Scavenger? And Yoshi says, the Calamity Scavengers check on the character's achievements, so we cannot do this. For this reason, we're looking to address this via the Armoire, but we still believe that it's going to take some time, so please wait a little bit more. Number 12. The dye information is lost when storing items in the Armoire, making it hard to store items that are dyed rare colors. Would it be possible to retain the dye information for items stored inside the Armoire? And Yoshi says, Final Fantasy XIV is making adjustments in bits. We cannot add additional space to the system to store the dye information, so we just unfortunately cannot do this. Number 13. Cutscenes can no longer be skipped in the main scenario dungeons to accommodate for new players. Are there any other dungeons or trials that are scheduled to be adjusted like this? And they say, we stopped including cutscenes within content, so we don't feel that we need to make further changes. We think that the rewards aren't balanced enough, so we're planning to enhance these rewards. And honestly, this is hugely important, namely because the rewards right now aren't even enough. Like, I'm just like, for the time it takes, hopefully we're going to see an XP boost. Hopefully we're going to see a reward boost. That the amount of time it takes for just those 2 dungeons should equal, you should see that plus. So like if you could do 2 dungeons, level 70 dungeons, in the same amount of time, the rewards should be equal along those lines, if not greater, just for watching those cutscenes. And that's just how I feel about it. In the Jade Stoa Extreme, there's the strategy where you can use the tank limit break to ignore through the roar of thunder. But did the dev team plan for this strategy? And Yoshi says, we did not foresee this. Similar to the great strategy for the meteor phase of the second coil Bahamut, turn 4, this is something the players created on their own, so we think it's good as is. However, if you're going to use the tank limit break, make sure to discuss it with your group beforehand. And there's also a rumor where people believe warriors playing on an SSD have an advantage inside Omega Sigmascape 1.0 Savage. Using the SSD or not doesn't change anything, and the loading time is adjusted so that they're loading the same time. This is just a timing thing. And so what you're referring to here is obviously with this, the Ghost, and you get taken in, all the tank needs to do is beat it down, and so if he's able to load in quicker, then he can have more time to DPS, etc. So there's that view. He says that it's just a timing thing. You tell me on this one. I would think that if I could load in quicker and attack quicker, that's a good thing, which would obviously, I play on an SSD, so I'm not really experiencing any lag there. So number 15, how do you feel about the current progression of Omega Sigmascape and what was originally assumed by the development team? And they say, just like Omega Deltascape, we see that many players are challenging it. For those that have completed the previous Savage 4.0, they may feel the progression is slower, but it's only the second week, so don't rush and try to enjoy it. Number 16, the characters really stood out for the Ananta Beast Tribe quest, which made it really fun. I'm looking forward to the next Beast Tribe quest series. Will it be the Nazmu or the Lupin? And they say, the next Beast Tribe quest will be Disciples of the Hand and Land Pacific. Popular characters will be involved and we believe it's going to be exciting. You may see some characters that were involved in the main scenario as well, so please look forward to it. So obviously getting our crafting and gathering, which is it seems a very copy and paste of Heavensward, excuse me. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but I'd like to see them maybe do a little bit more in Stormblood, but we'll see. For Triple Triad, even if we're able to collect rare cards, because there are limitations with the card setup, we are limited to the cards that we can use. Would you consider easing up on these limitations? And Yoshi-P says, we're discussing making some more adjustments, so please wait a bit more time. The number of minions have increased, and it can be quite difficult to find the minion I would like to summon. I would like to see some adjustments made in making such as tabs for each type to make it easier to find the minion that I'm looking for. And they say, we're having the UI team look into this and we're considering some type of adjustment. If you have any ideas or suggestions, please leave feedback on the forums. So either a search function or just grouping these things in various tabs and categories I think would really be nice. Almost for me, I would think, give me an option to favorite, like, hey, here's the ones that I want. Same thing with the kind of the mount roulette. I'd love to be able to favorite things, and then any kind of roulette thing would just cycle through the things that I've kind of favorited. That's just my personal opinion, but I'd love to know yours. What do you guys think? Number 19, it's become difficult to complete various large-scale fates because the number of participants has decreased. Do you have any plans to give incentives to players by adding rewards or adjusting the strength of the boss? As they say, we have no plans to add rewards, but we're planning on making adjustments to their strength. And this is kind of a little bit of a bummer in a way. I think rewards are definitely something that helps incentivize things. I think fates are completely underused. If you've seen any of my videos, I think there's a lot of things they could do with fates that would get people back involved and make it interesting and fun. It doesn't seem like they're making those steps though, and so I guess the only option in this case is reduction in their strength. Personally, I'd love to see lockboxes make its way into just the world. It's that fun little additional role thing, but you know what, that's just me. I'd love to know what you guys think. Number 20, when can we exchange 99 totems to obtain mounts for Susano and Lakshmi Extreme? And Yoshi says, I'd like to know this too. I've been instructed the team to do it by patch 4.25, so it looks like that's not too far along now. Do you have plans to introduce mounts that seat 4 to 8 players? And Yoshi-P says, we may implement this at some time in the future. That'd be so great. These 2-seater mounts, cool. Let's get some more mounts. Let's get some large-scale seating mounts, please. Do you have plans to expand on the stats of the Chocobo companion? I would like to see my companion be a bit more active, similar to Alpha. The companion system is very complicated, and we're asking for more time to introduce additions and adjustments. I would love to see some adjustments to the companion system. I would love to just be able to take my Free Company Squadron out and about. It's starting to become difficult to find new emotes in the long list of them. Would it be possible to make it visually easier to find them, such as adding a new item next to them? And they're talking again with the UI team to see if they can sort them better. Would you let us know the status of the mobile app, please? We're looking into releasing it by patch 4.3, and we hope to show it off in a future live letter from the producer. This app is tied to in-game using the large-scale server, so we're carefully preparing the final tests. So question 25 dives into Eureka, and since we've already covered that in a specialized video, we're going to just skip over these details right here, but you're welcome to go check out the forums and read them for yourselves. I'll be sure to include the link in the description below. So number 26, about food, we have a shortage on octopus in the game, and I'm not able to make takoyaki. Forgive me on that mispronunciation. We'll make adjustments so that you can fish up more octopus. Do you have plans to introduce mannequins as in furnishing? We're working towards the implementation of mannequins. If it's just to put inside your house as a decoration, it would be easy to do, but we're making adjustments so that you can dress up the mannequins. Do you have any plans to add alpha merchandise? And then they say, we should have some plans. You'll find out more about alpha in the story later, so please look forward to it. Number 29, would it be possible to load locations from old content to use with group pose? If you're asking to load locations you visited in the past as a background, we currently have no plans for this. However, we would like to make it possible to add locations that you were able to visit only once. Number 30, would it be possible to play old Final Fantasy games from the toy box? And then the answer, systematically, it may not be impossible. However, there are rights-related matters. I cannot promise anything, but I will look into this. Personally, I would love to do something for game titles such as Return to Ivalice, which are hard to play on the current systems. And this is just insane. Imagine being able to play previous Final Fantasy games within Final Fantasy. Now, it's interesting that there are rights-related matters, so you can't promise anything. This makes it seem that obviously with the publishing platform that it came on and was released on, that's going to have some kind of impact. So we'll have to wait and see there. But oh my gosh, yes, please. Why not? So at this point, they bring on the special guest Soken and ask him a lot of questions. If you guys want me to cover that in a video, let me know. But again, I'm going to include the link in the description below because there's some fun information here for you guys at this time. But again, this is a long video and I want to respect your time. So again, let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to go through the Soken interview questions. But these, the ones that I did in this video, really are going to impact the overall gameplay for the system. So this was Live Letter 42. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know that there's been a lot of content regarding this on the channel today, so I appreciate you guys hanging out and your comments and your feedback. So anyway, without further ado, my name is Brian and this is Work to Game. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Now at this point, they dive into the... Ow, ow, ow. Kick my foot. Oh, it hurts so bad. Ouch. All right.